American actor
gorgeous.
Daniel McVicker. I feel so ashamed to be close to such a movie star.
We've been 4 days together. We're getting close. I think it's obvious. It's great to be here with Pascal Vicedomini for the Los Angeles Italia Film Festival here in Follywood Virtual Edition. We're in Los Angeles. We're in Italia. We're all over the world coming up here in just a couple minutes.
Yes, I think that it has been 4 magic days, both physical at the Chinese Theater, where today we have another amazing program, and of course virtually on the platforms eventive.org and mymovies.it. However, there is also some amazing panels going on after the great beginning with Diane Warren, Laura Pausini, Edoardo Ponti, Ibrahim G, and Nicolò Aiardi. We had the Pinocchio panel with Federico Ielapid, the young talent who stars as Pinocchio, directed by Matteo Garrone, as well as the costume designer Massimo Cantini Parrini, that is nominated for the best costume of the year, and of course Dalia Colli and Francesco Pegoretti, who are racing for an Oscar for the makeup and hairstyle. And yesterday was an amazing international panel with 3 Oscar winners, Bobby Moresco, Barry Morrow, and Nick Vallelonga, as well as 2 amazing actors such as Gina Gershon and Robert Davi, as well as the Consul General of Italy, Silvia Chiave, in Los Angeles, and Roberto Stabile, who's actually the foreign minister for the Italian cinema, being responsible for the PR of the Italian MPAA, the ANICA is called in Italy. Today we have an amazing program too, my dear Daniel.
Yes, it's amazing. I've seen, I know we have a lot of surprises. There's always surprises with Pascal, but we have a first group that's extraordinary, some good old friends, some good new friends.
So let's show with us to start this today program. So we have Maestro Remo Girone, the Maestro Kabir Bedi, the Maestro Michael Radford, and the young and talented director Andrea De Sica. Where is Andrea? Andrea De Sica is becoming very popular with the young audience in Italy because of his very successful TV series, TV series, let's say not TV series, Netflix series, Baby, and now he has a movie produced by Warner Brothers, and what's the title in English, Andrea De Sica?
Don't kill me.
Non uccidermi in italiano.
Non mi uccidere.
So you,
Don't kill me.
Don't kill me.
Sì, ma non faceva parte del vote per tutti, sì.
No, because it's
so,
just...
Io ho ricevuto una tonna di screeners per vedere. Per questo ho visto i film di Sophia Loren, che io ho trovato molto bene, cioè che soprattutto lei che era
Michael, please speak in English, because we're making this for America, so it's not just Italian audience.
No, you can say that. I know my Italian is terrible, and I have to.
No, you speak wonderful Italian, but we want the American to listen what you're saying, which is very interesting. However, so you were saying that you received a ton of movies to watch, and you enjoyed the Sophia Loren movie.
The Life Ahead.
I was not expecting to enjoy it actually at all, but I really liked it. I liked it a lot. I thought she was wonderful, actually. As far as the other tons of screeners are concerned, there's an awful lot of television in the mix. It's a bit surprising, you know. It doesn't. They don't say it's television, but it feels like television. So some of them have been fantastic, but there's an awful lot which just feel like small television ideas, if you like.
Kabir Bedi, you are a giant as well, and you know, we are very thrilled of your book. I hope that it's going to be translated in Italian soon, because everybody still loves you for your memorable appearances as a Sandokan, and as also the other movies you did in Italy.
Thank you, Pascal. You know, it's so strange. It's wonderful watching you in Los Angeles because the three themes of my life have been India, Bombay, Bollywood. That's one part of it. Italy and Los Angeles, Hollywood. These three themes run through my book, and it's called Stories I Must Tell, The Emotional Life of an Actor. And I have just launched the book with Priyanka Chopra launching the book for me. And it was absolutely a magnificent launch. And the feedback has been enormous. I'm happy to tell you this will certainly be published in Italian by Mondadori soon after the summer. And I feel that this book will resonate for people in Italy, for people in Hollywood, where I spent 15 years of my life. And I've straddled 3 continents and 3 film industries all my life. So talking like this in Los Angeles about Italy, about the Italian film industry, sharing Italy in Los Angeles is something that gives me immense joy. As always you do, Pascal, every time I meet you, whether it's or Ischia or Rome or wherever we meet, you're always a magnificent man, and everything you touch turns to gold.
Thank you so much, Kabir. Remo Girone, last year he was with us in Los Angeles because of his performance in a movie where he was acting as Enzo Ferrari.
Yes. You were so kind to invite me.
It was my honor to have you there in that amazing movie with Matt Damon, and you were acting as a
Matt
Ferrari.
Damon and Christian
Ford and versus Ferrari.
Yeah.
Oh, Ford versus Ferrari. Is that the one that Niels Juhl has been financing? You know, the Danish entrepreneur, financier, who the reason I know about him is because I'm doing something with him. But he bought the Italian, the people who financed or produced Il Postino. He's bought their company. You know who I mean.
Cecchi Library, maybe.
Cecchi Gori, yeah. He owns Cecchi Gori now. Yeah, amazing. But he's a very nice man. He's a wonderful guy. And
Remo, how was your experience at Los Angeles, Italia last year? What do you remember?
It was fantastic. We had a very, very funny time together, and very fun. Everything was fun, was fantastic, and I hope to repeat it.
Yes, absolutely. But how was when Matt Damon called you and says, "I want you to be Enzo Ferrari in my movie directed by Jim Mangold"?
Well, I think I had done this movie with Ben Affleck 3 or 4 years ago, Live by Night, and then since I know that Ben Affleck and Matt Damon are very close friends, I was the first choice of the director for the role of Ferrari. James Mangold didn't even test me. I didn't do any test. And so when I went to the set, I said, I know, to Matt Damon, I said, I think it's you I have to thank for this role. And he said, no, you have to thank yourself. He was because you did wonderful in Ben film, and we were looking for a powerful character. And so he was so kind. He was really kind.
Good. And we were very proud to get you to be honored in Los Angeles. In Los Angeles, was a gentleman, Italian gentleman, a while ago that got 2 Oscars. And talking about Italian names, very popular worldwide, of course, one of these pop names is De Sica. Now there is this young fellow who's actually the son of a composer who was nominated for the Oscar, and his grandfather won 2 Oscar. Now he's a talented and a very over attentioned director. I tell you that was a very successful his series Baby. Now he has a movie produced by Warner Bros, distributed by Warner Bros. So his working progress job is going on. No, Andrea?
Thank you, Pascal. Yeah, I hope so. I hope to grow. This movie has been released today in Italy. So I just had the press conference 2 days ago, and I'm totally in the press like rush. And yeah, I'm so satisfied about this film. I hope that it will go abroad, even in the States. Warner is planning to release it on HBO Max, I think. I'm so sad that it hasn't had a theatrical release because it's my second feature for cinema, and in these times we had to go on platforms. But I'm like play this game, and so I'm happy to release it and to see if like audience would like it. Critics loved it in Italy, and there was many papers in these days writing about the film, and so I hope you also will like it when fortunately hopefully you will see it.
But it's
Hopefully,
not
yeah.
so bad that the movie will be on platforms, because I'm sure we gonna release it in Italy on maybe in the summer, I hope. And now it's on the platform, but with the platform you can get a major numbers of viewers. What do you
Yeah.
think about the job that the platformers are making, Michael?
The platformers, exactly
Yes.
what do you mean?
Netflix, all the
Well, this is. I think they're doing.
Amazon.
They're doing, it's fantastic. I mean, there's, as I said, there are I have hundreds of screeners. Usually I get 10, and there are hundreds of them, and I can see all these films, and they've spent money on it, and they've done all this. There's just a sense at the moment that I miss the cinema. I miss the grandness of cinema a little bit, and sometimes the stories are a little bit the kind of thing that you see on television. But nevertheless, it is the future. This is the future, and it's very important. And it means that people will steadily be seeing great movies and new movies and so on and so forth on at home or not in the cinema anymore. Anyway, very much. But it's very exciting for the business of making movies, because you can choose if you want to. People will come to you and say, please, can you do this and can you do this, and every day there's something happening, so it's exciting. Yes? No? Do you agree with me?
Yes, absolutely. It's the streaming now. How is streaming? Are you in India now, Kabir, or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So is streaming there making the impact it is in the rest of the world? Are people all staying home and watching, or what's going on with Bollywood and streaming?
Bollywood is very much in place, but the entire coming of OTT platforms, which includes Amazon, Netflix, and a number of, as well as Disney Star, etc., that are coming in, plus our own homegrown OTT platforms. I think they've changed the very nature of filmmaking in terms of the range of topics taken on and the employment of highly talented actors, directors, cinematographers to make films in a totally different way. What the OTT platforms do is they move films beyond the traditional 2-hour window that is necessary for theatrical. So the digital world has in fact opened up a whole new arena of filmmaking, and is putting some of the best filmmakers who are having a lot of problem funding their films in the traditional industry into work and giving them wonderful films to do. And I think a lot of the productions that are happening are no less than what is happening in cinema, both in terms of style, scale, budgets, and creativity. I think a whole new lease of life has come into cinema, and I don't see it as an extension of television. I see it as the next dimension of cinema itself. That's what OTT platforms are doing in India, and I think to a large extent even in Italy and in America. That's my sense of it.
I understand. And so, but in India, historically, the cinema was a place where people of all economic levels went, and it became a community experience there in a way that didn't occur in many other countries. And so, what's happening with that group, that audience right now, that may or may not have streaming?
But then I remember seeing you here in Bollywood as well. I remember seeing you in LA when we were doing the Bold and Beautiful. All kinds of connections between us. And I think the thing is that the traditional cinema audiences have certainly taken a huge beating as a result of this pandemic, because cinema theaters have had to close down, and if they reopen, it's with limited audiences, and people haven't quite got the courage back to go in great droves into the cinemas in India, which is a tragedy because, as you said, cinema and Bollywood traditionally was a warm family event where everybody went together, and it was a kind of collective enjoyment of cinema in a very social way. People would sing the songs of the films, they would clap at great dialogues, they would whistle great action scenes. That kind of collective enjoyment of cinema has diminished considerably in the last year. I hope it comes.
And actually, that's.
I think people want that very much.
No, just we're having trouble hearing sometimes, and it's our deal over here because our sound comes in and out, but it's not you.
Or is it coming in and out?
Wait,
Come on.
So no, no. What I wanted to say was that this is an example of both the friendship in the art and the family experience in cinema that we're trying to accomplish right now, with thanks to Pascal and thanks to the Los Angeles Italia Festival.
So, Remo, we're coming out for a very, very tough experience. How was important to go over this difficult moment, to have so many movies to watch on several platforms?
I know the feeling.
Yeah, I in Italy, I think they reopening the cinemas in the first days of May. I heard so. So there are a lot of movies coming out, and it's a fortune because I did during this terrible period I did 3 movies. One in Trento, which is called Fra due battiti, puoi tradurre tu forse, between two heartbeats, and l'altro è Il diritto alla felicità, che uscirà nei cinema adesso a maggio, The Right to Happiness, è un altro film che ho fatto e che tu hai presentato, credo a Ischia, che si chiamava Il cinema non si ferma, che abbiamo girato tutto con i telefonini, con gli iPhone.
You showed this movie with the telephone, and this has been an experience. I think there will be a cinematic tendency with many movies shot even on for the telephone, but not horizontal but vertical. There are some short contents produced just for the telephone. I mean, all these platforms are really changing the creative process of of the past. No, Michael?
This movie, sorry.
Michael, you are a very romantic director. You are a very classy British man, but you have very young children, very modern children. So how do you combine your classic mentality with the world that keeps going on with the new technology?
I think probably I have to combine the two. It just so happens that in the next few months, I'm going to be making a Hollywood movie for the very first time. That I've made a proper Hollywood movie set in the 1930s, and it's very exciting, and it's being backed by the streamers, but it's also being backed by Paramount and Trimark, and so it's a very exciting thing. Now, my kids love what they see from the streamers. They absolutely love it, and they take it on board, and it is something new. It is something new because it basically takes on the cinema, but doesn't destroy it. And I think that's something very useful and very interesting.
So Michael, do you take your children back to the past, to the classics of cinema, to the classics of Italian cinema? Do they get a chance to look at that in your house?
Afraid not. No, my my son is only just 10, and my daughter is 16. She loves all the old Italian movies and things like that, but they both still are fascinated by what is coming out now, and you can't say no to them because it is interesting and exciting. That's what they watch, and to go to the cinema in England is almost impossible. I think that they're starting to introduce drive-in cinemas somewhere, but but I don't know if it's possible
I think Brian
to
driving.
stimulate.
It reminds me American Graffiti. You remember the movie American Graffiti?
Of course, of course.
It reminds me of that movie. Listen, about matching classic with modern. So how do you relate your cinema to your genius grandfather's cinema, Andrea? When you produce, do you look in your passport and check your name, or you just keep going with your creativity? De
I
Sica is a
wanted
very,
just to
very
say,
important name to carry on.
yeah. I just wanted to say two things. That I'm super proud to be here now because I'm a fan of all of you guys, the whole group, and so it's very amazing to be here speaking with you in a cinema panel, speaking about cinema. And no, my path, I'm trying to make my own path. Fortunately, I did already 2 movies and a TV series, then so I emancipated myself a bit from my family. You know, in Italy, families are very claustrophobical in a way, and I think now I'm a free man, and I do cinema. And I love my grandfather's cinema, and I watch many times his film. I want to prosecute my father's job, which is to restore Vittorio De Sica's film and to bring them abroad in a new version, restored digital versions. I love him so much, and I think that young people should approach to his work as when I was young as a filmmaker. But yeah, no, my films are totally different. This film, Don't Kill Me, is a kind of a thriller, teen romance, schizophrenical. I don't know how to mark it, tag it, and but I'm enjoying doing my stuff.
Who did inspire you, Hitchcock or Roman Polanski or somebody else?
I love them both, obviously. And in this case, I'm totally inspired by Nikita, by Luc Besson, which was a female revenge film, much more before Tarantino's Kill Bill. I was amazed about it when I was 13. And a stranger one, a less like known film, which is called Possession by Andrei Zulavsky.
Yeah.
These were my 2 references for this last movie I did.
So talking about Luc Besson, I just met today at lunch Giareno, who's in Italy, in Roma, shooting with Pierfrancesco Favino, a movie by a French-American director, a lady. I don't remind. I mean, it's a difficult name. You should double check, Carlotta, the name I won't mention, and Pierfrancesco Favino. And then, of course, we have in Roma still all the Ridley Scott gang who actually are shooting the movie The House of Gucci with, of course, the one and only Lady Gaga, Miss Germanotta, who is Italian-American more than everybody. And then we have, of course, in the movie, Adam Driver, Jeremy Irons, Jack Houston. Actually, I met also him today.
Al Pacino.
And I, for the last, I left my hero, Al Pacino, who's actually a great friend of Michael Radford.
Yes.
We are going, Chococetta, we are going to have shortly another guy with us live, another guy who knows very well Michael Radford and Al Pacino, because they have been sharing the set of the movie Merchant of Venice. Joseph Fiennes will be shortly with us in the panel, a surprise for Michael. But talking about matching classic and modern, I would like to ask to Kabir the question of the century. So, Sandokan is a classic. Now there is this Turkish guy called Can Yaman. They're gonna make a remake, a series, whatever, to go over on the story of Sandokan. And so, first of all, what's your feeling that another man is taking your place in the role? Second, do you know this guy? Did you ever see him on the Turkish series, whatever? And third, would you suggest him in order to be a real Sandokan?
Lots of questions there, but let me just say, I've always said that Sandokan should be remade, modern technology. It's a classic. It's one of those things that's iconic in Italy. It created a whole wave of success that broke all records that lasted for decades. And yet, I've always felt that Sandokan done in a modern way, with modern technology, with modern special effects, would be wonderful to see. I've seen some of the work by Can Yaman on the series. I think he's a very good actor. I think he'll be a worthy successor. But I also feel that whether the old magic of Sandokan is brought back to the screen is something that will be decided by the audiences. And that is a magic that has no formula. It just happens when the right ingredients mix in the right way, at the right time, in the way that a cake rises and becomes a wonderful dish. So Sandokan can be recreated. If it can be recreated with the same magic, marvelous. If not, we always have the old Sandokan going on. And I don't believe that the old Sandokan will ever die out. It will always continue as the Sandokan that established the genre, the Sandokan that's created that magic, and it's a classic that will remain for all times classic.
So you think that every certain time they will have a new Sandokan? So it was this is like a Bond character.
Well, I've been in a Bond film. I've been a villain in a Bond film.
I remember,
I tell
of
you,
course.
it was really special to be part of the longest-running film franchise in the world. And I'm not saying that Sandokan will become a Bond franchise, but I think every couple of decades, if it's renewed with entirely new technology, going back to the great classic story of Emilio Salgari, it can only better the story of Salgari and renew and keep alive the legend of Sandokan. So I see it as a good thing. I'm very positive about it, and I'm looking forward to seeing the new series. And I believe that a lot of comparisons will be made between us, but let the audience decide which series has magic and which series touches them the most. I'm happy if both do.
Talking about talking about the series, talking about the character, talking about the franchise, there is a series that in Italy has been a huge hit. Then it conquered the world. The first series of it, La Piovra, was the one that really launched Remo Girone as the villain of Mr. Commissario Cattani. It was Tano Caridi, the villain. So you were one of the villain for the TV series most popular ever. Does it feel? Before Ferrari, it's a long story.
Yeah, I did. It was a serial. We were shooting 5 or 6 or 8 episodes every 1 year and a half. It wasn't so. I did 7 of them. I started on the 3rd, and I went to the 10th, and then they stopped because everybody was dead at the end. Even my character suicides himself in the volcano. We shoot on the Etna, but I think they had ideas also to do it again, but nothing really happened to. And was a great casting, because when I came in, Michele Placido was playing Cattani. He was the good personified, and I was the evil personified. You see, so we at that time we got the right mix of the thing, and it exploded. The fourth series, the fourth part ends with the death of poor Commissario Cattani, and was seen by 17 millions of people in Italy, and then was sold all over. Now in America is shown on Netflix, in another and I went to Russia. I remember once, you know the festival of Giffoni, no?
Yes, of course. Of course.
It was invited. Gorbachev was invited by the festival, and his wife Raisa was alive, was still alive at the time, and I have a nice photograph with Michele, me, Gorbachev, and Raisa, and Margherita Bui. Yeah,
Amazing.
because when I went to play many years after, I went to Chekhov Festival. We were doing Uncle Vanya. I was playing Astrov, and they were still showing it. They were still showing it, and they used the over voice in Russia. You see, so you can still hear the Italian voices, the Italian language. And at the end of the show, we were in Moscow. It was a show directed by Peter Stein. We were in Moscow, and a girl comes to my dressing room and says, "Thank you." I said, "No, it's my work. Why thank you?" No, she said she was speaking a perfect Italian, and she told me that she started to study Italian when she saw the first series of The Octopus.
Amazing.
That was a great thing. It was a really great thing.
Amazing, Michael. So I want to talk about something that is very close to you. The Isle of Procida. Procida has been named an Italian capital of culture 2022. So what is your feeling for Procida being in the spot? A small island, but full of energy, full of culture.
It's a very special place. They asked me to do a big speech on I think it was on TV. I think it was on TV about or a speech when the island was given that honor, and to say what I thought of it and all the rest of it, because we shot a lot of Il Postino on Procida. Vuoi che parlo in italiano oppure in inglese? Meglio?
In
Okay.
inglese, in inglese. va bene.
In English. So I just talked about what I thought about Procida because it's such an authentic place. Why would and I was thinking about why they would choose this as the center of culture because it has a culture which hasn't changed for centuries, and it's very it's a very warm and interesting place to live. It really is, or to work, or anything. I love the place. I really love it, and I've never forgotten it. I've never forgotten it, and I'm so glad that they got this, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful for the whole population.
It's full of sun. Procida is there. Oh, here we have also a new guest coming in.
Ladies and gentlemen, the maestro Terry Gilliam with us.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Maestro Terry.
Terry, are you a bird or what? The line went off.
There we go.
Anyway.
Well, I have a question for Andrea, because you shot in Turin, Non Uccidere. Lots of gray. I live in Turin, so I know it's lots of grays, lots of shadows. It's underground. It's very good for that type of a series. But could you shoot something in Procida, on the Amalfi Coast, in Ischia, in Capri?
We are expecting you to do it, Andrea, soon. You just can't come to the festival and then you don't shoot anything over there. Well, now I make a contract with you, young fellow, because we contribute to make you popular, and then when all of a sudden you become popular, you're going to shoot to Torino. No, you have to shoot in the south, my brother, eh? I can't hear you.
Actually, thanks to Pascal friendship, I am actually kind of an honorary citizen. I hope to become of Capri and Ischia, and so yeah, what the island has gave it to me, I will give back of course.
When do you start shooting? For the moment, the only person that has been doing this is Michael Radford, and soon Steven Zellian, who's actually preparing with Enzo Sisti his TV series called Replay, from the book, the famous book, and also an homage also to Anthony Minghella, who actually was shooting the first Replay after he came to Capri in 1997. The same year he won the Oscar for The English Patient. So please, Andrea, be soon focused on making another movie in Italy. Kabir, you've been you are honorary citizen of Italy because you've been so much in Italy. So what do you miss most of Italy when you are in India?
The presence of Pascal Vicedomini.
Well, now it's easy.
Now, let me tell you, there are so many things in common between Italy and America, Italy and India, because there is, love of family, kind of civilizations based on religion, food. We all use our hands and we talk. We have great hospitality. There's so many things. So, what I remember most of Italy, firstly, is the warmth of the people and the love that I have got from the Italian nation and people. Secondly, what I love about and miss about Italy is those wonderfully preserved historic town centers that contain the history of the town, of the region, and in many cases the history of the country. And last but not least is the wonderful food that changes from region to region, each more interesting and tasty than the other. And it's a gastronomical feast wherever you go in Italy. Italians have such great taste in food, such variety in food. It leaves you dreaming about it. Italy also, lastly, above all, is foremost in the business of beauty. Italians have an aesthetic sense that is in their DNA. That is why they're world leaders in fashion. Why they have such extraordinary architecture. That's why they have created such 80% of the classical art in the Western world is from Italy. So many things I miss in Italy. One, but whatever it has enriched my life immensely, And I can only bow in gratitude for everything I've received from Italy in all these years.
Remo, you are a star, popular all over the world, and you are one of the Italian ambassador of creativity, of talent, of also art. So, what do you carry on mostly of your Italian soul when you go all over and they know you, recognize you as an Italiano? What are you really proud of when you feel that around the world Italy is so much respected?
Well, it depends on where you go. Uh, for instance, in America there are a lot of Italians, and they like me very much, even people of the business. And I live in Monaco, and yesterday, for instance, we went to eat with a great Russian because they're making in the theater they're making Boris Godunov, and we went to eat with the director, Russian director, and the Russian singer. So they wanted to make photographs with me and all this stuff, and that was really nice. That was really nice. And then they invited us me and my wife to the premiere. And when these kind of things are happening, they make me very proud and very happy, and it's very important for me. For instance, when there was a quarantine, the first quarantine, I was reading poems, and I was sending poems to some friends, some people I know and friends, and they were so happy. They really, some of them, they really do. They put all the poems together, and they were listening. They're still listening at it, and this made me really happy, because there is nothing more important when you feel some esteem. Can you say esteem? When
Yeah.
when you feel the esteem,
Affection.
that the affection and yes, the affection of the public. There is nothing. We work for that.
So Daniel, what made you move to Italy? And there are certain Americans that keep coming to Italy and doesn't live anymore. We are so happy. Also some British. For example, in this moment, living in Italy, there is my rock hero, Mick Jagger, who's actually living in Sicily for a long time. But we have plenty of American, of British people. Actually, Mr. Sting and his amazing wife, Trudy Styler, they live most of their time in Palagio, in Umbria, in Tuscany, sorry. And Terry Gilliam, I was thinking about Umbria because Terry Gilliam has an house in Umbria. But I mean, they are so. What made you move to Italy? Besides now that you have a son,
No, I came here for the rock and roll because Sting and Mick Jagger were here. But no, the truth is I've been coming to Italy for as Kabir. You know, we were lucky enough to be in a popular series in Italy, so we would start to come here. And I think I'm with him. You go to every region, everything is different. So Italy has been a part of my life for now 30 years. Yes. But I did fall in love. I got married. I had a child. I got divorced. I stay in Torino with the child. And so I'm not Italian by blood, but I have an Italian son. His name is Pietro, made in Italy. So that's what keeps me here now.
And you also, Michael, you have been living so much of your life in Italy, and especially in Napoli, since you were working with Compagnia di Canto Popolare. and then you were chased by Massimo Troisi to co-work with him in Il Postino. So your career is very much close to Italy, no?
Yeah, it is. I didn't
Although
try.
you are very British because you take the tea at 5 o'clock. We almost 5. You at 5 in Italy. Maybe for 30. Oh, here we go with Joseph Fine, ladies and gentlemen. What a surprise! Replacing the maestro Michael Radford. Joe.
Ciao, Enrico. How are you? In Los Angeles, in the beautiful, famous theater where Cecil B. DeMille first opened his big movie, King of Kings, in 1927. How amazing! Great to see you.
I am so happy to see Joe. Actually, I was trying to make the reunion of you and Michael, but the minute you jumped in, Michael left. So maybe he will come shortly back because I remember the first time you came to Ischia, Michael was there, and actually he was very proud that we showed the Merchant of Venice in Ischia. And I remember also coming to meet you in Ischia, Maestro Francis Ford Coppola trying to convince you to make a movie that did not happen. So then you came back to Capri Hollywood. I remember an amazing time we had in Napoli with Forrest Whitaker eating pizza at Ciro Mergellina with your wife Maria, and it was so I have so many memories with you. We miss you. We miss you in Italy, Joe.
I miss you. I miss you. I miss Ischia or Ischia, the pronunciation should be. But we had a wonderful time, and it was great that Francis came to visit. That was a highlight for me. I think they even named a room in the hotel after called the Coppola Room or something. But I have fond memories of being with you in Napoli and in Capri.
Yes. So we're talking about the relationship between the foreign people and Italy. So what makes you so close to Italy and to all your family? I recently met your niece, your niece, nipote si dice niece, Hero Fine Tiffin, and your sister. I met Marta, and she's very much in love. Your brother Ralph is very. I mean, what makes you in love for Italy? È caduta? Oh, we lost.
Fermo, sì.
No, so, Kabir, so what besides the book, what are you up to?
Well, firstly, let me show you the book. This is my book. It's called Stories I Must Tell. I'm going to use this great platform to show you my book and to show you what it looks like. And it is really the story of my life, straddling from Bollywood to Europe and Hollywood. And these are the three pillars of my life. So as I said at the beginning of the program, the fact that you're sitting in Los Angeles and conducting this wonderful show, this wonderful LA Italia festival, gives me immense joy, because these are three places, India, Italy, and LA, that have been central part of my life. And right now I'm writing my next book in terms of putting together other parts of my life that I had to leave out of this biography. But it is the story of a boy from India that became a major star in Europe and went on to Hollywood, had lots of adventures there, including the Bond film, including A Year on the Bold and Beautiful, and many memorable television series that I did along the way. So there's a lot of Italy in my book, there's a lot of LA in my book, and there's a lot of Bollywood in my book. And we have a huge lockdown going on right now. So it helped me write this book, because I had a lot of time on my hands last year to sit down and just put all my passion and vision into writing this book. And so far, it's It's been a wonderful experience, and I have a very interesting film coming up in Italy as well, and I think that it'll be happening shortly after the lockdowns end everywhere, and I hope we all get through this pandemic as we should, because it has held the world hostage for far too long, and especially cinema has suffered greatly in this time. And my feeling and prayer is that this pandemic should be overcome, and cinema should take up its rightful place, not only on the smaller screens, but also on the big screens and the big theater experience, which audiences love and filmmakers need, and want to show their craft and their technology and their sound and their graphics on the big screen. There's no substitute quite for that experience. And I hope that comes back too, in addition to all the other digital platforms that have given new creativity to the business.
So, Joseph, you're back?
Yeah.
I could listen to that all day. What wonderfully put, beautifully and eloquently said. Back, yes, but loved listening to that.
So listen,
Thank you,
Joe, I
Joseph.
would like to ask you, did you listen before the question I was asking you about what makes you close to Italy?
I didn't hear. Could you repeat the question?
What makes you very close to the Italian culture? I know you love Italy.
Oh. Yeah, well, I met my wife in Sicily, in Taormina, so that has big meaning for me. At 16, I ran away. I became a muratore, builder. It dreams to maybe go to art school in Italy, but you know, I think of Italy. I think of beautiful people that I've loved over many years. I think of Bernardo Bertolucci, the maestro. With him, I think of Umbria and Tuscany, cheese and Brunello wine and grappa, and great times I had with builders, and also maestros of cinema. So I have a great love of Italy, and I was there recently on a Terrence Malick movie that shot in Cinecittà for a day, and it was great to be in the let's say the Fellini, and where the great made their films there in Rome. So I obviously a love of the great auteurs and directors of Italian cinema who have had such impact. Hollywood would be Hollywood without all of those in film.
So Joseph, you are, you became very popular thanks to a movie called Shakespeare in Love, and then you grow up in your career in so many. I remember also Kill Me Softly. I remember The Match on Venice. I know, and I saw you in an amazing TV series. So the world is going more over TV series, they say. Do you agree, or you are still very into the feature film? The line went off again. So sorry. Che succede? Yeah.
I think you lost. You can't hear us, right?
So, Remo, diciamo, tu sei venuto fuori dal teatro, poi you have been an amazing theater play actor, then you became very popular on television, and then you've been doing so many movies. So it seems that the world goes more on the serious, although I personally prefer the feature film. What is your feeling? Can you be artistic enough on the TV series, or you need just cinema to stay on that style of expression?
No, I think you can do good also in a TV serial, if the TV serial is good, you know, because you have also a lot of TV serials that are not good. But certainly, you know, I was born in Africa, in Ethiopia, and love for this job came to me by seeing the movies. There was no theater there. And then after I made the school of theater coming here, and I played in theater also there in the university theater. But my love for this job depends on movies. We were going to the movies as much as we can. I remember also, maybe Kabir will laugh at that there was an Indian movie that was coming out every year in a certain period. There was this movie was coming out and was beautiful. It was called Mother India.
Right, right. Mother India is one of the great classics of Indian cinema. Much like, La Strada is in Italian, or The Bicycle Thief, or any of the great Italian classics of the great masters. So Mother India certainly was a defining form, because it is interesting, because Satyajit Ray used to be one of India's best known directors internationally, because he made what were called art films. But Mother India actually came from Bollywood. It contained the tradition of including songs in the dramatic narrative.
Yes.
And it worked, because it remained as raw and gritty and earthbound struggles of a woman in a village who signifies India, and that film was called Mother India. So yes.
I saw it at least 3 or 4 times, because there was a period of the year this movie was coming out, and for a week was all booked, 15 days booked, the cinema.
Pascal,
Oh, Joe.
Pascal, may I say that? Kabir. I was saying that, talking about cinema versus television series, it's not quite that. There's the classical cinema that was. And then there is also the traditional television series. The digital platforms have created another form altogether, which is almost like cinema series. It's not television series, it's cinema series, because it's made on the scale and style and the elegance of film, because it's shot with film and with film directors. And yet it is a longer space of time. So it becomes a cinema series, not a television series. And there is a quantitative difference in terms of the kind of programs that are being created on digital platforms today and what was traditionally television series. Those were smaller budget, more old-fashioned. Then they became bigger budget, but they still remained television product. They didn't have the kind of reach and expanse of cinema, which a lot of the digital films on the Netflix and Amazon platforms, etc., are now bringing into the world. So I think we have three different types of cinema that are in existence right now, if not more, but 3 principal types. Dan, I can't hear you, Dan.
Joining us.
I can't.
Michael, are you back? Can you listen?
Yes, I'm back.
So, are you happy to see your buddy Josephine?
Oh, Joe! I wondered who it was. Everything went dark, and then appeared. It's very nice to see you, Joe.
It's lovely to see you.
Hello.
How's everyone? The family?
Oh God, they're all grown up, and Felix, my son, is 30 years old, and I know it's crazy. And I have another family.
So, Joe, listen, I was asking you about the difference between shooting movies such as The Merchant of Venice with Michael Radford, or Shakespeare in Love with John Madden. So, and the TV series, well, actually you made a very successful one. What is your opinion, the world goes more to the TV series, to this direction, or cinema, the classic feature film will be still a big deal?
I have a theory that after the corona pandemic and nightmare and lots of binging on series, that we will suddenly go back in our droves to classic cinema and theatre, which I love. It's where I came from, and the shared experience between strangers through a big screen or on stage, for me, is something that obviously television can't give you. But I do love the television. The production value is just as high and equal to film. We used to be quite snobby about television screen. This is screen now, and television. Everyone has big, plasma screens, and so get a sense. It's as it was eloquently said earlier. It is a new form of cinema. It's a hybrid, and we shouldn't be snobby about it. It's wonderful, and it gives also. It's a much more democratic form of working film. I think it's a hybrid, but it's here to stay, and it's extreme production values and amazing direct. And I, the time I've had tale, it's very cinematic. The difference is you're shooting 7 pages or 9 pages a day as opposed to 1 page. I would like it to be 1 page a day. It's quite tough doing 9.
Do you agree, Michael?
Kind of, yes, I do. I mean, I've been admiring you in The Handmaid's Tale. I have to say. It's actually quite gripping. I'm just saying to Joe that I love the television series that he was in, or is in. I don't know whether you're still used, because we're always way behind here. Yeah, I think that it's really complicated because you can actually show films now on big screens and sitting at home with a glass of wine, and that's very, very pleasurable, if you like. But it's not quite sitting in a huge audience watching a picture and seeing everybody pouring out their feelings and transmitting them to each other. And, you have 400, 500 people. Of course, that's completely impossible now because of the COVID problem, and cinema now becomes something on television. That's absolutely right. And I actually have been looking at a project which is actually set in Spain and in India, and it's a thing called the Princess of Capurtala, and it's about the story of a young girl from Malaga who became the Maharani of Kapurthala in India, and for many years. Anyway, that's just that. But they then decided that they didn't want me to direct it. They wanted all their Netflix guys who had been directing television for the last few years to have the right to make this thing. So it's 6 of one and half and a dozen of the other. I think. I don't know. Is anybody there?
I know about the story well. I know about the Kapurthala story well because my father's side of the family actually came from Kapurthala, and the
really?
Maharaja Kapurthala that married this lady, Delgado, her name was Anita Delgado, I think.
Yes, Anita Delgado. Anita Delgado, her name. That's right.
He built a replica of the Versailles palace in Kapurthala, of all places.
The only thing that changed, big doors through which he could have elephants instead of horses.
Quite an amazing story. I'm sorry they didn't want you to direct it, but it's an extraordinary story. And she was quite an extraordinary woman in her own way. And she went back to Spain at the end of it all, and lived to tell the tale. But Absolutely. It was especially of great interest to me because my family came from there, and I was very keen to see. would make it and how they would make it.
I've been dying to ask
Sorry?
you one question. That is, are you related to Bishan Bedi?
Bishan Singh Bedi. Not immediately and not directly, but all Bedis are descended from the founder of the Sikh religion. And so am I, and so is he. And we are close friends.
My
We are
my
close
hero.
friends. His son is in Bollywood, and I just sent him a copy of my book. And Bishan Singh Bedi is a legend in India because of the cricketer that he was. So
Yeah.
we know each other and have great respect for each other. And he's one of the other. He was the other Bedi that popularized the Bedi name abroad. He was
Definitely.
me with cinemas and films in Italy, in Europe.
Okay, guys. So I want to really thank you, and also we see Paul Agis over there. Paul, how you doing? We will gonna have now shortly a conference.
I'm very
with
well.
him.
Thank you for inviting me. I've been having a fabulous time listening here, and I completely agree with Joe.
Thank
But,
you.
Ciao, Pascal.
Yes, but I want to say that Paul is coming back in a minute, because I want to say and thank so much for being with us. Josephine, my brother, I miss you so much. I hope that you're going to come in Ischia soon, Joe. July 18, 25. Please try to make it. Will be a great, if you're not working.
I'm remembering that.
Put in your agenda, maybe
Let's do it.
even for 2-3 days with your wife Maria. Please send her my regards. And of course, Michael Radford is a part of the family of Ischia and Capri. So with Emma, Linus, and Amarilis are there already with their room and their big umbrella. And we want back to Ischia to also Kabir Bedi with his British Indian charm, which is something that I cannot really stay without. And Remo Girone with his beautiful wife Vittoria Zini, it's always very welcome. Thank you, guys. Stay with us, because in a short time, in a short minutes, 1-2 minutes, we're gonna have this master class with